Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're going through another top 10 list, but this time it's for universal types. It's the only type that I haven't done a top 10 list recently. I'm gonna give you down below in the description the top 10 blast, speed and combat that I did recently, like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days for the blast. And let's go through all the 10 characters that totally worth having in your account for PvP and PvE. I'm gonna give you the builds that you should have if you should worry about having their artifact or not, and what kind of CTP you could utilize them for PvP or PvE. I'm not gonna include supports on this list, on this top 10 list, because the supports I believe that you should build for a universal are included on the top 10 inside list. So if you care about the supports, this video is not about supporting, and it's full on 10 characters that they are actually really good for damage, but also having some support value through their kits. So we're gonna go through the top 10, but before we do that, I wanna make sure, guys, that you're knowing that you need to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Let me know down below in the comments what's the next universal character you're going to build, and in the update that we're getting with Doctor Strange, feels like perhaps there is some universals. For sure there is Dr. Voodoo, but if Dr. Voodoo is not going to get something crazy, I don't feel like he's going to be in this list still. So yes, we're not gonna delay it anymore, so smash the like, subscribe, hit me in the comments, tell me your opinion, and let's go to number 10 of this list. At number 10 we have Hela, and even if Hela hasn't get anything anytime soon, you know, this uniform, it's super old, she's still one of the best characters to use for PvP and especially for Otherworld battle. I'd say that I'm not gonna say about any support, but this kind of support has value on doing damage also, and the fact is that the meta of PvP right now, it's full of heroes, and this character helps you decreasing the damage and increasing the damage doing against them. In the same time, to get the maximum value out of here, you need her artifact, because it's an artifact that gives her immortality, and with this immortality you can stay alive and actually do some killings on Otherworld battle easy peasy. It's a super cheap character. She costs only 800 CCF, and you should use her with a CTP of destruction, a mighty CTP of destruction, because when she is in the immortality phase through her artifact, you're gonna go through the penetration and do some kills with the proc of the destruction. Also, you can utilize her with a mighty authority and being more defensive, stay alive more, and do the life of the enemies on Otherworld battle harder with her kit. That's all. Artifact, yes, but not must have, because the buff is that you want here for sure. So yeah, Hela number 10. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is no other than Dr. Doom. Even if this dude as Hela hasn't get an update anytime recently, he's still one of the best characters to use for PvP and especially for Otherworld battle. The fact that he has revive gives him the opportunity to go through more, more than one fifth skills, and the fifth skill provide him a really special, he's going in the iframe ignore, and he can take with him a lot of enemies while he's dying. In the same time, he don't have even an artifact, and the best CTP to use for him, it's a mighty authority. He is not that good, but in the same time he's really good when there is the restrictions on Otherworld battle. You can't actually use a lot of characters, and the fact that he is universal, like Hela is universal, gives them the opportunity to go against all the PvP characters, that they are not universal, and having an advantage through the damage and defenses against them. So yes, Dr. Doom. Also, we're waiting for sure Doctor Doom is going to get something. As we can see, they're giving tier 4s to native tier 2 characters, and I believe that tier 4 of Doctor Doom is not that far. I believe before Christmas we're gonna have this tier 4, and even if you build him, you know, as a tier 3 right now, you're gonna get the value when he's going to be the tier 4 we're waiting for, and probably the super PvP tier 4. But yes, other than Mighty Authority, I don't feel like there is something fit to him, because with Mighty Authority you can stay alive longer and spam more skills and do some more killings. So yeah, that was it for number 9. Let's go to number 8. Next character in my list, it's another PvP unit, and it's Gore. And all these characters having immortality, reviving, gives them the opportunity to participate in PvP and stay there, do the kills. So Gore is 1 year and a half into the game, and still he's one of the cheapest and more solid characters to use for PvP, because, you know, for the others you want to have the tier 4s and stuff like that, but with this dude as tier 3, native tier 3, you can go there and do some serious killings. He needs his artifact? No, really, but with his artifact he's being more, you know, he can do more kills easier. In the same time, you want something defensive for his kit, and the Mighty Authority is the best choice in my opinion. But still, he is really strong even with using him with an obelisk. I have a guy on my Discord having an obelisk on Gore, and he's at top of PvP, even at timeline battle. So having the artifact or not, the important thing is to build a defensive build on your Gore and go there, do the kills, stay alive to do the kills actually, because that's the hard part with the tier 3 against the tier 4s. For the previous characters and this character too, I suggest a PvP, you know, a PvP ISO set like a Protect the Captain, Spider Sense, and there's multiple others, but Spider Sense, Protect the Captain, and Tenacious Symbiote, in my opinion, it's the best defensive ones cause of the old defense. So Gore is the dude, in my opinion, still smashing Otherworld battle. He's not that good, but for timeline battle, he's all over the place, providing also a really solid leadership, giving all the supervillain, except the debuff remove that all the you know, the leaderships of PvP doing. He's also provides 35% HP, which is really important for characters like Hulk, for characters like Jean, for characters generally, for all PvP villain characters. So yeah, Gore, it's still in the meta 1 year and a half later, and before the buff Gore he was not there, but now he is all over the place after the buff he took. And the next character is a character that we are waiting to get a buff, to be honest. And this character is Kang. It's the number 7 of my list, and Kang just came into the game. He's not like more than 2 months in the game. He's super expensive. He's not worth the cost to build. It's like Gore actually, but you know, he's not top in the meta for something. He's only good for Otherworld battle, and there is a lot of people using him there. Before they fix his leadership, he was one of the best characters to use for leadership and giving all attack to all the group, but now he having only a self-lead buff. I am giving him this position here, the 7th position, because I believe they are going to buff him eventually, like they did with Gore, as I told you. And he also has a revive. He's a character to 2023, and we're waiting him to be in multiple MCU movies. So there is no chance they're not going to fix him somehow. They're going to give him a uniform. They're going to give him a remake. We're not sure yet, but probably he's going to get something more. At the moment, he is one of the best characters to use for Otherworld battle, but for for timeline battle, he's falling a bit behind. He is close to be worse than Gore, to be honest, but because they're real close, and Kang has the potentials from the MCU uniforms. I'm giving him the 7th position instead the 8th, and vice versa with Gore. And with this dude, you don't actually need his artifact. It's the same like Gore's. You're getting extra damage, but it's not really important. And also you want a defensive PvP CTP like Mighty Authority. It's the best. It's a character that you could use Mighty Conquest, the new CTP we took, but I haven't tested myself a lot, but I'm seeing a lot of people using it with him. Again, same thing, a defensive ISO set could help you survive through the meta that there is full of tier 4s. So as a tier 3, you just want to survive more, do more damage, you know, revive, again being more defensive. That's why I suggest you to use ISO set that gives you all defense and generally stats for PvP and defense. So yeah, Kang the Conqueror, really a character that everyone was waiting for a long time, and when he dropped, you know, he didn't did this big of a deal on the meta, to be honest, but still one of the best solid unit to use for Otherworld battle. And let's go to number 6 of this list. Number 6 is Wanda, Scarlet Witch, or Wanda Maximoff. It's one of the best characters to build for ABX and for some stages of ABL if you miss some characters. But generally, Wanda still one of the best damage dealers of her type, you know, and her type, it's kind of rare. It's a universal female type, and you can use her for ABX 2 days and take advantage of her hero universal tag. The best CTP to use for her, it's a CTP of Rage, a mighty CTP of Rage, or a normal or a brilliant, you know, because you're gonna get the maximum out of her for ABX, but in the same time she's really cool with a mighty judgment. This is a full PvE character, and I suggest you 100% use something like this or Overdrive or Hawkeye for her PvP, for her PvE ISO set. You don't actually need her artifact to perform, but as you can see, there is a pattern for universal characters that don't have special artifacts. They're giving them flat damage against all the others, and because of their typing, they already have this flat damage, so they're getting boost even more on her damage against all the others, and especially the bosses and ABX beast. So yeah, she's a solid unit. We're waiting for her to get a tier 4 also. This update was something that could fit her, you know. It's Doctor Strange's magic character's ability. She's full of magic, and we're not sure yet if she's going to get something on this update, but for sure she's going to get eventually something, perhaps later on from the MCU updates. So yeah, that's the number 6. Even if she's going to be outdated, you know, with all these universals dropping here and there, she's still one of the best to use for ABX and ABL, and it's one character that she is tier 3 and you're still using tier 3s for ABX, and that's really important. The only other day of ABX, it's the one with combat female and the one with villain, with speed villain, actually, that they are not tier 4 to use still after almost 2 years of ABL. So yeah, Wanda Maximoff totally deserves a place here, and she is at number 6. So now let's go to number 5. On number 5, I have Thor, Odin's son, and even if he is he could be the number 1 of this list. He could easily be the number 1 of this list if you count the value that you get even at, you know, actually you need to have his tier 4. To be honest, yes, you need to have his tier 4, but he is the cheapest character to get out of this list. After Hela, perhaps, you only have to spend 800 CCF. It's the one of the only 800 CCF characters being used on this list, and he has crazy value at tier 4. He is one of the best farmers in the game, but recently we have like Jean and Magneto being competitive with that, so that's why the value on farming, it's not a big deal. but it is a big deal. So if you have Thor, you can actually go through dimension rifts, actually go through dispatch missions, and in the same time he is giving you crazy value for 1 day of ABX, and in the same time 1 day of ABL or 2 days of ABL, depending on if you having others or not. So he got also really nice, you know, tags and typing. Being a universal, male and alien provides him a lot of World Boss Legend, and he can climb your account through all the World Boss Legends really high. He absolutely needs his tier 4 to perform in the best level, you know, and that's the reason actually I'm having him a bit low on the list, being the first of the tier 4s on the list actually. And as you can see, my build is crazy. I used to have a brilliant CTP on him, but yes, with Thor the point is that you need to use a raids if you want to get all this value. If you don't use a raids, you're losing a lot of value. In the same time, his artifact providing him extra lighting damage through the lighting resist you have, and if you have a 5-star or 6-star artifact and a 4-star, but with the 4-star I have, it's not a big deal, but still it's a really good deal having his leadership, using his leadership and getting extra lighting resist, and with this lighting resist through your artifact transform into lighting damage. As you can see here, my Thor got like 45% lighting damage if I use him out of group, and if I tagged him in here, let's say that now he got 45, and if I swapped him into the leadership position because of the lighting resist and his artifact, he's having now 60%. But this is getting multiplied a lot if you use, you know, a 5-star or a 6-star version, and you're getting even more damage through this trick that you're doing using him as a leadership. So Thor, it's the 5th position, and if we didn't had recently some other tier 4s, he could be way higher. But why I'm saying that? Because the number 4 and Mr. Odin, father of Thor, came into the game, and even at level 80 he's completely smashing all the PVE and actually more the World Boss Legend. For the World Boss Legend, Odin can provide you solid clears, and he has kind of unique tags, like it's not actually unique, but a command tag, it's the tag that you can find only on Storm and Star-Lord right now, and Black Panther actually, for the tier 4 characters. But Odin, it's the only character that even at tier 3, he can clear Mephisto 89 easy peasy. I did with him the 150 challenge on the time of World Boss Legend challenges, and he doesn't really need his artifact. It's exactly the same artifact. As you can see, Wanda, Gore, Thor, no Thor, basically Kang, Gore, Wanda and Odin, 4 characters right now got exactly the same artifact, giving some damage against supervillains, and yeah, it's kind of actually he's not getting. Actually, yes, I was wrong. The artifact for Gore and Kang provides you damage against hero also, but in the same time Odin gives you damage reduction from supervillains. So even if they're similar, they're not exactly the same. With Odin and Wanda, you're getting a resist and damage, but with Kang and Gore, you're getting damage against supervillains and heroes. So yes, even without the artifact, he's performing perfectly with the judgment, with a mighty judgment. Thor also has some use with judgment, but doesn't really worth it. Even for World Boss Legend, raids is really close to judgment, but for Odin, judgment makes him an absolute beast for PvE and World Boss Legend, and he totally worth the level 80, 100%, totally worth the build and the materials you need to build a native tier 2 character, because even at level 80 he can absolutely be there and do the damage. But if you want to use him for ABL, And ABX, you have that opportunity too. He's a bit better than Thor, but you need to use him with a CTP of raids, and him and Thor in the same time has not the perfect value for ABL, because they are two characters that being alien but don't have any support to use for specific days of ABL, you know, the ones that you need to use alien characters. That's why Star-Lord actually out DPS them, because Star-Lord has similar damage, but in the same time he can get double support from Groot and Rocket Raccoon. So Odin, totally worth it. He doesn't actually need his tier 4 to perform for World Boss Legend, but if you want to compete for ABL, you want to go through tier 4 and raids. Of course, you know, offensive ISO set and Powerful Hungry Hulk, Overdrive or Hawkeye is the way to go for. And let's go to the next dude on the number 3. On the number 3 of this list, I'm putting Black Bolt, and Black Bolt, even if exact 1 year after, he is at top 4 or top 5, actually top 4 of DPS in this game, you know. If we consider that the best DPS are like Luna Snow, Magneto and Jean Grey, right after the damage that comes, it's from Black Bolt. Black Bolt do bazillion of damage at tier 4, but even at tier 3, as I have him, you can get, you know, huge value out of him. If you want to use him for ABL, he's used for only 1 day, but in the same time on this day he's the best unit to use 100%, and it's the day universal male. He's not alien, and that's what keeps him behind generally from me to build him. The tagging and the fast movement tag is something that you can utilize on a World Boss Legend, but the fact that he is not an alien and he is inhuman keeps me from tier 4 him. Even at tier 3 he is absolutely the same with Odin, you know. Even at tier 3 level 80 he can do miracles for World Boss Legend, and he's doing miracles. If you see my previous video, I did stage 79 of Ultron with him being level 80 and using CTP of Raids. CTP of Raids is not the best to use for World Boss Legend, and in the same time at level 80. At level 80, in my opinion, a brilliant destruction, a mighty destruction, or a brilliant or mighty energy could be the best, because if he procs on his tier 3 or his 4th skill, he's doing a ton of damage. His 4th skill is not doing a lot, but his tier 3 is doing a ton of damage if you manage to proc with it on the exact moment you need to take advantage of double the mighty or brilliant proc and the proc of the actual CTP. He's having some extra ignored dodge and some extra attack through his artifact, so the artifact for sure is not necessary and you don't actually need it. But yes, if you want to use him also for ABL, you should go for CTP of Raids. If you don't care about ABL, you should go for the mighty or brilliant of destruction and an energy or a mighty or brilliant energy. So let's go to the top 2 of this list. And it's our boy Thanos, number 2 Thanos. And this dude has something that the other characters on this list doesn't have. Depending on how you're going to build him, you're gonna get a lot of value into your account. He's not like the absolute number 1 for PvP or PvE, you know, his damage, but in the same time he's pushing a lot of value through his tags, and in the same time, if you manage to go full on PvP, you can have a real killer into your account. There is multiple people using him as a hybrid, but in my opinion he's losing a lot of value if you use him as a hybrid. The hybrid people using him with a mighty destruction or a mighty energy, having a solid PvP unit, doing one shots with his 4th skill, but in the same time you can't do a lot of damage for ABL. For ABL he has huge value because you can use him for all the days that you can use actually Odin, Thor and how it's called, Black Bolt, yes, but in the same time you can use him for PvP, you know, with the CTP of Raids for PvP. He's not that good, but he is good. He got one of the best leaderships in the game for villains. He's providing 50% basic attack and 40% basic defense, and removes all debuffs. So you can have a solid PvE build having him a mighty rage or a brilliant rage, using him for ABL and get some value for PvP. But you can also go full on PvP using him with a mighty authority. It could be the best case scenario because helps him survive more and gives him the opportunity to be durable against the other tier 4s. You don't need his artifact, as you can see, providing you only critical rate and critical damage. It's exactly the same with Black Panther, and yes, doesn't really adds a lot at the end of the day in your performance. He is one in the top 3 both PvE and PvP of Universal, and depending on what build you're gonna give him, you're gonna get the results you're gonna wait. And that's the number 2. The number 1 is the Queen. It's Jean Grey. It's the absolute best choice everyone into his account should do. And she has the same issue with Thanos. You need to focus the build if you want to get the maximum results out of her. But see, you can use on her way more stuff, way more CTPs, whatever you have, and put her. She's going to work. She's going to work for PvP and PvE with a mighty grid or a brilliant grid. CTP of grid could help you use her with both ways, you know, some PvE, some PvP. But in my opinion, a hybrid build on her, it's a completely waste, because she's so good for PvE. She's so good. So in my opinion, brilliant raids or whatever raids, the best raids you have in your account, drop her on her. She can be used for multiple ABX and ABL days. She is out of your mind good DPS. She is in the same value of Magneto and Luna Snow. These three actually can cap ABL and ABX when all the other characters are struggling, but these characters are the absolute number 1 on damage. And she used the brilliant raids 100% if you want to compete on top 16 of ABL and ABX. If you don't care, you can use her with a judgment also and have great value for World Boss Legend or GBR Dormammu. She is one of the best characters to clear. You don't actually need her uniform, and her artifact, it's the same like Gore and Kang I was telling you before. She's getting damage against superhero and against supervillain, so this is useful for PvP. Even with a rage or a judgment, you can use her 100% for PvP. She has a solid lead. It's not like in the value of Gore or Thanos lead, but in the same time it's a removal debuff, and she has the revive that the other characters in this list are struggling. You know, the 5 tier 4s has no revive, so she's having revive. And in my opinion, if you don't care at all for PvE, you can go for a PvP build. For a PvP build, you can use her with a mighty authority or a mighty egg or a grid also. Grid gonna help you do the kills faster. So yeah, depending on how deep you are into PvE and ABL, ABX, if you wanna go and do max scores there, you should give her so you know, give her a hybrid build or a grid, or else a brilliant raids is a must-have for Jean Grey. So that's my idea on the top 10 universal characters. That's my opinion. Of course, you can go and build whatever character you prefer. You know, there is Ghost Rider is a character that could get a tier 4 in this update. We haven't seen all the characters that they are going to release. There is a middle month also. So yes, don't be like, I'm gonna build this because Deathproof said. You know, think yourself. Loki is a character that he's going to get an update really time soon, and before Thanos he used to be one of the best units for ABL and ABX. Sentry in the same time has a lot of value for PvP and Alliance Conquest or playing manually Timeland Battle. So yes, there is characters could be in this list also because of the value they are going to get in the future, but at the moment this is the top 10 that I believe should you know, deserve the top 10 of universal type characters. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any other opinion, if you believe that anyone else deserves to be on this list, and I'm here to talk with you and have the conversation. Also, always there is our Discord server down below in the description that you can join and get yourself some coupons, get yourself some GBR carries or some mythic rifts. That's all. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. See you into the next. Kisses in your faces.